Hello, welcome back, Recapped Mystery here. Today, I'm going to explain a French horror drama film, They Came Back. Watch out and take care. The film opens in an unnamed French town when, one day, a swarm of resurrected dead people emerge from a cemetery for unknown reasons. They quietly pour down the road in a solemn procession, as onlookers stare in awe. As the throng grows, the town council convenes to discuss the situation. They, too, are bewildered, as are the general public. The mayor says that the entire world is currently in the same scenario, and no one understands what is causing the dead to resurrect. According to preliminary estimates, more over 70 million men and women have resurrected around the planet, and the count is still ongoing. Almost 13,000 individuals have returned to life in their town alone. The flow of the dead from the cemetery lasted roughly 2 hours. The returnees appear to include men and women who died within the last 10 years. According to the death registry, the crowd consists of people of various ages, although more than 65% of them are over the age of 60. One thing remains constant among all the restored individuals: they are all in good health. In contrast to their pre-death situations, the mayor requisitions the local community center and warehouses to get these individuals off the streets and provide them with refuge. He believes it is critical to keep all returns together in order to identify them and bring them back to their families, because they are now citizens of the country and deserve rights. The committee estimates that they will need to keep the returnees in such facilities for 3 to 6 months and adjourns the meeting. Soon, the dorms will be built, where people will be housed according to their gender and age. Martha, the mayor's wife, is among those who have been resurrected. Someone brings her to the mayor, but he refuses to see her and dismisses her. Isham is a municipal council member who lost his 6-year-old son, Sylvain, several years ago. He and his wife, Va. Copyright Tronique, search one of the dorms for the child. They pass many returned people who are being tested and interviewed on their route. The returnees appear emotionless as they stare into the horizon and do not engage in conversation unless approached first. The couple shows the officials images of Sylvain and is asked to wait. They are also warned that if they are not ready, they can either take the child home or leave him in the hostel. When the child appears in front of his parents, they are taken aback. The scene moves to the mayor's residence. When he finally meets his late wife, she acts as if she has never left and inquires as to why he is late. Meanwhile, Isham's co-worker Rachel is at home, distraught over everything that is going on. Her husband Matthew died in a car accident 2 years ago, but she has accepted his death and is unsure if she should welcome him back into her life. The next day at work, Isham tells her that his kid is exactly the same as he was before his death. He acts as if nothing has changed. He also asks Rachel if she intends to bring Matthew home, but she dismisses the question. After a few days, the municipal council meets again. They are now anxious about the possibility of future unemployment and housing problems. Furthermore, the returnees are slow and unable to communicate well, which means they are not as efficient as they were in their prior positions. The council also mentions that the resurrected patients experience symptoms comparable to those found after a severe concussion, such as confusion, sleep difficulty, and roaming. However, for some unexplained reason, their motor functions remain unaffected. Then we see Matthew, who has returned to work as an architect. However, he is lethargic at work and only speaks when others speak to him first. Rachel has yet to make an attempt to locate him. Another issue for the council soon develops when the returning begin to stroll out into the woods at night. Researchers believe they are either looking for a familiar spot or are reacting to the awful event of dying. To address this issue, a doctor named Gardet creates a tranquilizer that only works on the returnees. He also instructs the dorm security guard on how to keep them from walking off into the woods. He notices Matthew dressing up and strolling out while monitoring the sleeping revived folks. The security guy claims to do this every night before going to work. The doctor is perplexed by this and follows Matthew to his workplace. He notices a gathering of returned folks there. They do this every day. According to the watchman, Rachel is walking home from work one day when she spots Matthew following her. The two walk home without saying anything. Dr. Gardet, who has been watching Matthew, follows them. Rachel is still uneasy around her husband, so she goes to her room, stating she has to relax. He throws a reception at the mayor's house to reintroduce Martha to the family members. However, in the middle of the meal, she stops chatting and wanders away into the woods. Her carer said she has spent the entire day strolling about the garden. The mayor pursues his wife and attempts to apprehend her, return to the table, but she keeps walking without any explanation. Meanwhile, Rachel approaches Matthew late at night and initiates a dialogue. She eventually kisses him, and the two part ways, up having an affair in the living room. While the doctor monitors them via the window, a lady presents to the next council meeting pointing out that the revived people have bodies the temperature is lower than that of a typical person. As a result, heat sensors detect them. Cameras are depicted as pale figures. As a result, the council resolves to monitor their actions using cameras linked to hot air balloons scattered over town. Their major goal is to learn more about the nighttime meetings that the returnees frequently convene in various parts of town. A surprise factor is discovered when the first round of reports arrives. Every day, every one of the returnees, young and old, walks at least 9 miles. They conclude the discussion by claiming that as more data is recovered, they will be able to identify the commonalities and frequencies of returnee gatherings. Rachel and Matthew are sunbathing by a lake one day. Rachel, who was first skeptical about Matthew's reappearance, is now at ease around him. The rigidity of the returning in the water immediately distinguishes them. There, the pair encounters Dr. Gardit. He explains Matthew's behavior to Rachel and assures her that he is soon healing from the trauma. Rachel hears a disturbance in the middle of the night and goes out to investigate, only to discover that the doctor has followed them home. When questioned, he claims that he wants to help her cope with the circumstance and that he understands how she feels. He asks if she is aware that Matthew gets up at night to go to work. Rachel claims her spouse is okay and claims he only has problems falling asleep. She returns to the bedroom after evicting him and finds Matthew awake. He inquires as to whether she was conversing with anyone, but she lies and claims she was not. Matthew submits his work to his supervisor the next day, but his reports make little to no sense. Even though the manager explains his mistakes, Matthew is perplexed. As a result, he is demoted to the company's technical division, where he will work with other returnees. The following town council meeting, officials declare that the returnees' semi-normal behavior is an illusion. They have been emulating the expressions of the living and remembering what they used to do before their deaths in order to appear normal. However, they are completely incapable of performing novel tasks. Matthew gets dressed at night without Rachel's knowledge and goes to work. This time, the doctor overhears the returnees discussing their encounters. They appear to be discussing city maps and neighborhoods in general. Meanwhile, Sylvain, the boy, wakes up in the middle of the night and bangs on his front door, desperate to get out. His parents are concerned for him. The school has also advised them to take Sylvain elsewhere because he scares the other students. His mother sobs, stating all he wants to do is flee from them. Similarly, the mayor's wife attempts to flee by jumping over a fence, but the mayor stops her. He tells Rachel about his wife the next day. He is concerned that one day he would wake up in the middle of the night and she will be gone, but Rachel maintains that this is their fate. It is evident that all of the returnees are attempting to flee their houses and congregate together, but no one can understand what they are saying in their nightly meetings. Rachel visits Dr. Gardit that day to ask how she can assist Matthew in returning to normalcy. However, the doctor claims that she will never be able to restore him to his pre-death state. He can only recall anything that transpired before his death. The doctor also gives her a video of Matthew saying he met Rachel 2 weeks ago, despite the fact that he had been deceased for 2 years prior. Rachel gives up hope of ever seeing her husband again and returns home to find him disappeared. A security guard catches Matthew and other returnees in a field and orders them to leave. A large explosion can then be heard nearby. The returnees then ignite many explosives throughout the city. They all meet on the street and make their way to a tunnel. The mayor awakens to find his wife missing and begins searching for her. He ultimately tracks her down in the streets and forces her into the car. The other returnees, however, prevent him from driving away. Martha inquires as to whether the mayor is exhausted. When he does not respond, She asks if he wants to join them. She gets a strong feeling he is about to die. As she calmly talks to him, he passes away and joins the returnees. Meanwhile, at Isham's home, Sylvain is still trying to escape. His mother wants to let go of him, but Isham insists he will keep the kid forever. As they talk, Sylvain falls off the balcony from the second floor. He stands up and joins a returnee man who had been waiting for him. In retaliation to the explosions, the military responds by gassing the returnees with a chemical that induces a permanent coma. Matthew returns to Rachel, who is worried. After guiding some of the restored people to the tunnels, he tells her everything about the day of his deadly vehicle accident. He recalls having a confrontation with them and fleeing in his car in rage. When he returned home, Rachel was gone, so he went in search of her. Rachel sobs as she realizes Matthew was hunting for her when the disaster occurs. She follows him into the tunnels, kissing him farewell as he fades into the darkness. The military carries away the comatose bodies of the returns in the morning. The dead are set on their graves in the cemetery in the final scene and slowly vanish. The end. Please subscribe to assist the channel, turn on notification and leave a like. Thank you for taking the time to watch. See you again soon.